Today we're getting into a story that honestly feels like it was ripped straight from a movie script. It's about a company that shot for the stars, became a tech unicorn, and then just flew way, way too close to the sun.
So what on earth happened to Higgsfield AI? In the crazy, high-stakes world of artificial intelligence, their story is a wild ride, a real masterclass in hypergrowth, hype, and, well, a pretty spectacular public flameout.
All right, let's just start with the number that puts this all into perspective. To really get why the crash was so dramatic, you have to understand the height they reached. We are talking about a company that, for a moment, was valued at $1.3 billion.
And here's the part that's truly hard to wrap your head around. They did it in just 15 months. You know, in the AI space, that's not just fast, that's practically light speed. Insane.
So you're probably wondering, how in the world did they pull that off? Let's unpack their unbelievable rocket ship rise and see what made them Silicon Valley's golden child, at least for a little while. Okay, so the secret to their explosive start was this deceptively simple idea. Higgsfield was what's known as a wrapper service. Just think about it like this. Instead of you having to subscribe to 5 different AI video tools, you could just subscribe to Higgsfield and get them all bundled together for one fee. It was basically the Netflix bundle for AI. And on paper, it looked absolutely genius. But, and this is a big but, it also meant their entire business was built on other companies' technology. And their profits? They depended on perfectly predicting how people would use the service. That's a very, very tricky balancing act.
And boy, did investors love it. The money just started pouring in. I mean, look at this timeline. An $8 million seed round in April 2024 that ballooned to a $50 million Series A just 5 months later. And then an $80 million extension on top of that. The market was betting big time on these guys.
And with all that cash, Higgsfield started painting this irresistible picture. They were claiming huge user growth, revenue that literally doubled in just a couple of months. And right at the very heart of it all was one simple, seductive promise: unlimited video generations.
But, you know, beneath all those shiny, impressive numbers, some really deep cracks were already starting to form. And this is the part of the story where a promising startup begins its slow turn into a cautionary tale of marketing and just pure hubris.
And this is where things really started to go off the rails in public. In early 2026, the company actually posted this on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter. We just ended 20 more creative jobs. I mean, can you believe it? The very people they needed to win over, creators, was the community they were openly, proudly antagonizing. The backlash was, as you can imagine, immediate and absolutely fierce.
And you know what? This wasn't just some isolated mistake. They already had a history of these bizarre marketing moves, including this so-called apology campaign that pretty much everyone saw as insincere ragebait. Content that's designed to make you angry just to get you to engage. It was a pattern. And it showed they were completely out of touch with their own user base.
So here's the crucial point. This was so much more than just a few bad social media posts. Those marketing blunders, they were just a symptom of a much, much deeper problem. A whole cascade of operational and, frankly, ethical failures.
Yeah, the disconnect between what they promised and what they delivered was massive. This is where that whole risky wrapper model started to completely fall apart. See, to offer you unlimited access, Higgsfield had to pay their AI providers for every single video you made. So when people actually used the service like they were told they could, Higgsfield was hemorrhaging money. That promise of unlimited became a lie, and it all blew up in what people started calling the Christmas Grinch scandal, where thousands of paying customers were just suddenly banned right before the holidays. No warning, no explanation.
And the problems just kept piling up. It was one thing after another. First, there were allegations that the company was just stealing motion graphics templates and trying to pass them off as AI-generated. Then, a company moderator publicly quit, just describing total internal chaos. And that ambassador program for creators? One person who was in it called it hit-and-run marketing. Ouch.
That whole hit-and-run feeling became painfully obvious when they started reaching out to creators. Higgsfield basically launched this mass DM spam campaign where the offers were all over the place. I mean, 2 creators with almost the same number of followers might get wildly different offers. It was like a price lottery. It just made it so clear they were treating creators like numbers on a spreadsheet, not like actual partners.
So the result of all that spam, the thousands of user complaints, and the tone-deaf marketing was pretty much inevitable, right? By February 2026, their main account on X was suspended. For a billion-dollar company, that is a very public, very embarrassing black eye.
So, after all that chaos, all the hype, all the drama, what's the big takeaway?
Well, it really boils down to one of the oldest rules in business, one that Higgsfield seemed to have completely forgotten. Trust is everything.
As of early 2026, believe it or not, the company is still technically operating. You can go to their website and subscribe, but the damage to the reputation is just severe. They've lost their single most valuable asset, and it's not their funding, it's not their user count, it's the trust of the very community they need to survive. And that really brings us to the core lesson of this entire story. Higgsfield had to learn the hard way that, in the creator economy, trust isn't some nice-to-have bonus. It's not just about ethics or being a good person. It is the absolute foundation of good business. When you burn that trust, you pretty much burn everything else down with it.
So we're left with this really provocative question. Was the implosion of Higgsfield AI just a one-off, a unique failure? Or is it a warning flare from the front lines of the AI gold rush? A sign that the old Silicon Valley mantra of move fast and break things might just end up breaking the one thing you can never ever rebuild, trust.